So much of your post game and the other day, and obviously other times this season, was kind of about guys doing their job, right, and not trying to do too much. I asked Jalen about this after the game too. I wonder, with this game where everything's on the line, how much more do you maybe worry about guys trying to do too much just to make it happen?
Yeah, and just to reinforce that again, what I'm saying, that's everybody in this building. Okay, that's not on the players, and what I was, trying to emphasize is that there's things that I'm hearing or we're talking about that are consistent about repetitive maybe mistakes or trying to do too much. And as coaches, that's our responsibility to be able to find the way to get them to execute these things appropriately and consistently. And then there's times I think where, where I want to make a play. I want to make something happen. So I think I see something. Again, there's times where a guy will go make a play a little bit out of his normal responsibility, and we're like, yeah, and then, so they're trying, and it's a balancing act through that, and as we've continued to do that, but in no way is that this is a team thing, not a player thing, and again, it starts with coaching and what we want to do. Yeah, in a game like this, guys want to, especially for those seniors, and hopefully for this whole building, is that we want to make sure we go out and play our best football, for these 33 seniors, and no matter how long they've been here, we've had a lot of guys that have been here a long time and have given a lot to this program and university, and for us to go out and play well and play hard, and give us the best opportunity to play our best football to date and go get a win is going to be important. But yeah, it's still, and I think I've said this before, there's not when we win a game, we take this approach, practice approach, and then when we lose, we take this practice approach. There's different things within that messages along the way, of course, but again, execute your responsibility with the technique taught to the best of your ability, and we line up and go do it again and try to do it even better.
Sure. Do you worry about, or maybe is it an advantage to have this do or die situation? Does that add juice, or does it add an element that you don't like?
I don't know if I've given it a thought of a benefit or not. I guess I've taken an approach where we know what we're up against to try to get to bowl eligibility, and as a building full of prideful competitors, that you're going to prepare and go out and play your hardest to your best of your ability. And for many of these guys, it'll be their last game, and those are things we talk about too, about sometimes reality of things, and whether you had hopes and dreams of continuing playing. For many, that does not happen. And so hopefully, and again, Matt, these are things we talk about in August, and things about how fast this goes by, and it doesn't seem that long ago we were in here in August, and of maximizing opportunity, maximizing the day, looking in the mirror and making sure that that you did everything you could to prepare. You're doing everything with your effort. You're doing everything that you can within the things of nutrition and rest and film study and all those things that not only will get you an opportunity to be successful, to reach your goals, but give our team the best opportunity to win. And again, give our guys really foundational things about how to approach the ups and downs of life.
Lance, coming off the loss, coming back, what have you seen from the team? How have they responded?
Well, good, bad, or indifferent. Obviously, a short week, quick turnaround to get them back in. The benefit of getting the earlier game versus a night game, it would have probably been even more difficult to get on the field yesterday. But we talk about having, you hear a lot about 24 hours to flush it and stuff, and our guys were back in this building meeting at 3:00 yesterday to turn the page. And again, there's disappointment and probably frustration that goes along with that of the last month. But I was pleased with the way and the attitude about where they're at and wanting, challenging them. How do you want this to finish? How do you want this this team? Because a lot of guys are talking to me. This is a really good group of guys, and a guy that, and I've been telling them that for a while now. It's a group that I enjoy standing in front of and talking to because of how they've gone about it this year and what they've given our program and how they go about it. And I think they've got a great attitude towards this. Pleased on what we did again here this morning, and again tomorrow will be a heavy work day for us.
Watch Utah on film. What do you see from them?
A really good football team. They're solid in all phases. Physical football team. They're top 2 or 3 in the league in almost every important category. They've been explosive on offense. I think they're tops in the country in win differential this season. A lot of playmakers. Again, the physicality and consistency in which Coach Winningham has gone about his whole time there has been impressive. And it's, we haven't played this team since they've joined the league, so to have a chance to line up against them will be the challenge that we anticipated. And but at the same time, you watch, Kansas State had a lot of success against them offensively, and it was a heck of a football game. And once we had a chance to watch our film on the bus, we were able to have that game on as well on the buses coming in. So we had a chance to see that and how that played out. And obviously there's things that we want to try to, replicate success. And obviously, and some of that will be, the way they ran the football. And I'm sure they're going to, make adjustments needed as well. But a dynamic quarterback who can make plays with his arm, but is very physical runner. He's probably one of the more physical running quarterbacks I think we've played in a while, and like I said, a lot of parts that go with them to make them very dynamic.
You've talked a lot in the past about your relationship with Chris Kleiman. I didn't know if you've heard of or watched the video from this weekend.
Yeah, I've seen parts of it. I reached out to Chris yesterday. And like I said, for a lot of us, when expectations in today's, world of college football and what's going around and what you see, there's disappointments and frustrations and these jobs, and I know people get into the salaries we make as coaches and things like that, but we didn't get into this, and I know Chris didn't either for what the paycheck is. That's not how he started. That's not what drives him, and to see that, it's like I say, not somebody that's at the rival school, but as a friend and a colleague, I reached out because I hope he's doing well, and I know this, and as he articulated, and I feel the same about our guys. As you go through the ups and downs and the tough losses and things like that, we really love our kids. We love the guys we work with, and the players we get to coach and work with on a daily basis. And a lot of times that gets lost today.
Lance, with it being a short week, is it easier for you and the team to kind of flush what happened on Saturday and kind of move forward?
Yeah, I probably, because you gotta keep moving, and we talked about that going into the game. That hey, we got to be back in the building on Sunday, guys, and hopefully it was going to be with high spirits and energies and getting ready to go and to go get another win and that. But so yeah, it is. You've got to. Like I said, I guess we caught a break versus a night game that between watching the film and again and during the open week. Our support staff analysts, grad assistants were working ahead and getting some stuff ready to go. We knew we'd be pretty limited yesterday, really mainly a walkthrough, and then still pretty limited today. But yeah, you have to turn the page in these situations.
In your class, just a lot of these guys were here at the very start. We're coming off the no-win season before you got here, and then whether it's Jalen, Highshaw, the defensive tackles, what's it been like to coach those guys?
A lot of soft spots, a lot of really appreciation for them, and I think you hit a couple. Obviously, We talk a lot about Jalen in here and through and everything that he has meant to this program and will and how much when he does play his last game, and I hope this is not it, that we'll miss him. But a guy like Daniel Highshaw, to see the growth in him in less than 12 months has really been amazing. And honestly, as we were talking about some of the things when you relate with your players, extremely fulfilling. And I'm happy for him, fulfilling as a coach, as for our staff, because Daniel stuck with us and we stuck with Daniel, and to see him grow and mature, there's not a win or loss in there that anybody's going to really monitor, really care about. But at its core, when you start, those are some of the things, Kevin, that you really want to see happen. So I'm so happy for him, and to see the way he's weathered it through and persevered. Keenan Caldwell, another one, as you're kind of alluding. Keenan was a guy that, honestly, he'll probably tell you as well, is that when he got here, with the new staff, I don't know if he was 2 feet in all the time. But he's eventually there's a time and maturity where the coaches aren't the enemies. Okay, we're there to help, and when sometimes we use the word, when you don't resist quite as much and you kind of go, you start seeing it. And Keenan, again, on the field and off the field, to see him grow and mature, those are things that again are fulfilling, and we greatly appreciate. Emery Duger's a guy that, again, that's also a sixth-year guy as well as those others. But you mentioned Tommy and DJ, and there's others that have been there through that. And even the guys that came here for a shorter term, just the way, and I said it to our leadership group, we have been very fortunate to this point about the way our newcomers integrated themselves and bought into how we do things here at Kansas. And I can say this far down the road is that I think we would have more bumps along the way to when you bring guys that have been in different programs, some that have been in more than one program. There's just differences that you got to kind of be aware of about, well, I kind of like what you do here, but I like how I did it over here before and stuff like that. And this group has done really, really well with that. And so all these guys that are taking it, I just hope, I know it's Black Friday. I know where we sit here the last month. I just hope our fan base will come out and support these guys, and because, as we mentioned, some of those first guys and the DJs and the Tommies and Jason Gilliam, and I'm going to miss other guys along the way if I was sitting there trying to name everybody, but guys that persevered through the tough times and helped change how Kansas football is looked at. And honestly, part of the reason why the questions you have to ask and the disappointments and the frustrations and whatever else it is, because these guys raise the expectation, and the bar's been raised here at Kansas on what we expect it to be, and they've been a big part of it. And hopefully our fans and supporters will acknowledge that for them in one more home game.
Is this a culture game for you guys? I mean, especially coming off the Iowa State game, just in terms of, and you've talked about flushing it and kind of guys coming at it and playing and executing, playing clean football, a lot of the things that you talk about.
Define what you mean by culture game,
just
if you don't mind.
Last year when you guys had the struggles and everything, and you didn't win for a while, it was seen as sort of a victory in the culture of this program, the way that everybody was 2 feet in, that you wound up getting the 3 ranked wins, that nobody quit. When you have a tough loss like the Arizona game, you have the bye week, you have the Iowa State game, to be able to sort of refocus and come at this game.
Yeah.
Is this?
Yeah, I would think so. And again, you can use culture. You can talk about, we talk about, I guess you get down to pride and purpose in this. Again, to me, you got to look at yourself. We all have to look at ourselves and putting everything we can in. And as I said to our staff, unfortunately, it's a holiday week and I can't feel overly sensitive to it being a holiday for us to make sure that we got this team ready to go. And we owe it to the players, we owe it to our fans. And for those things about pride and purpose and knowing that you put everything out there, I think hopefully if that means it's a culture game for our program, then I guess it will be, and we'll be evaluated continually on those type of things. And again, I think we've got the right people in the leadership areas and in that locker room that'll go out and they're going to play hard and hungry.
Emotions of senior day and how you handle that and how you manage that. What have you learned, especially here in this time, that maybe allows you to tinker how you handle that or how you do that?
Again, we've tried to acknowledge seniors and just, what it is. And again, some of the things we've just talked about in preparation. Sometimes today emotions are good. And right now, after maybe what we've gone through, being emotional is, sometimes I used to say, kind of a sidebar here, even as a Division III coach, I'd say when a young man would come in to quit and he would start crying, I would ask him, well, why are you crying? Because they care. They care. So when guys are reminiscing or looking at it, and there's a lot of things, because a lot of guys are going through parts of they don't know what the next chapter is, and whether it be somebody that has aspirations. Last year we had a roster of guys that we thought were going to get a lot of opportunities at the next level, and those all didn't work out. And I think for some of our guys, that's an eye-opening experience of what's really next for me and how hard it is to really continue playing football. So again, there'll be some emotions, but I think if we continue to talk about some of the things we had about making sure you make the most of it, embrace the day, and make sure you kind of lay it all on the line and let the chips fall there, I think is the best to be there. Now, again, if it's heavy emotional during the introductions, then we do get a little time to get them back in the room and compose it and try to address it that way. But I guess I'm trying to say I'm going to let it kind of play the way they need it to let it play and should play for them.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thanks, everyone.